So here is a little short net rope tutorial. What you need is yarn, 2 colors. I have a white as my base and this as my accent color. And then you also need scissors, which I need to grab. Now you need about 48 inches, I believe, for a A4. I'm just gonna eyeball it because I don't have a measure tape. Tape measure. What's a measure tape? This looks pretty good. 4 strands of that. Now that I've got 4 of about the same length strands of that color, I'm going to take it, try to line up the ends as much as I can, and then tie them all in a knot so that they're all together. And then run your hand down it and then tie it as close to the end as you can. These actually are very uneven. You want them to be even, but it's okay if they aren't. So there are a bunch of random loose ends. Here's the first one, and then if you have a really long extra like this, you can just cut it off or you can leave it. Now you're going to make 2 of these with 4 strands each out of your base color, which I have right here, so I'm going to do that. Now that I've got these, so I've got 1, 2 of the base color white, and then I've got 1 of the accent color. So I'm going to group them all up with the knots at the top, all at about the same spot, and then I'm going to tie it. I want to tie them all together. We're not going to tie the bottom, but now you should have 3 strands that aren't connected to each other except for at the top. Just want to separate them really quick because sometimes they can get mixed up. And then once you have them separated, you just want to start braiding. You don't want it to be super tight. You want it to be relatively loose. Just like that. So then it takes less time. This looks pretty long. So I'm gonna hold it, pinch it at the end, test it. It's not bad. I do think I'm gonna do a little bit more just to make sure I don't end up being short. I'm just gonna braid it a couple more times. Okay, so I did a couple more. Now just loop it around the back, right up to where the mane ends, if the mane doesn't end at the bottom, which doesn't. So do it like that. Still pinch the end, and now tie off the end right where the braid starts. So I'm just tie it right there, pull it through, and then pull it tight. And now you have it all tied off. There is excess. Cut it off, but make sure you have at least an inch and a half, 2 inches left. And then take it to your horse, and then put it down like this, above the thickest part, around like the middle, and then tie it up like that, right there, and then double knot it to make sure it doesn't come out or come loose. Pull it tight, and then there you have it, and it stays on. And if you want, you can either leave it like this with half of it braided. You can trim it up to make sure it's like even and stuff. I don't do that, but I also don't leave it, but you can. It looks cool. Or what I do, you can cut about an inch off the knot You can see I started cutting it 1 inch to 1.5 inches off the knot. Just eyeball it, you don't have to measure it on each, but try to make it equivalent where you cut it on each. And then just undo the braid. And you can kind of like fluff it out and mix it. And there's your neck rope. Stays on pretty well. And you can take it off and put it back on. It does get stretched out eventually, but that's why you make it so tight in the beginning, so then it takes